Did you know, in the books, Aegon's peace terms to Rhaenyra were a complete joke? Gildain writes, "Word of Rhaenyra's coronation reached the Red Keep the next day, to the great displeasure of Aegon II. My half-sister and my uncle are guilty of high treason," the young king declared. "I want them arrested, and I want them dead." Cooler heads on the Green Council wished to parley. The princess must be made to see that her cause is hopeless. Grand Maester Orwyle said, "Brother should not war against sister. Send me to her that we may talk and reach an amicable accord." Aegon would not hear of it. But when the two queens, his mother, Queen Alicent, and his wife, Queen Helena, spoke in favor of Orwyle's proposal, the truculent king gave way reluctantly. I think we can infer from this that Helena was never on board with overthrowing Rhaenyra, since she immediately advocated for peace and was given no role in the Green plot to steal the Iron Throne, which probably meant the Greens knew she couldn't be relied upon not to tip off Rhaenyra if she had been part of the schemes, and her husband does keep cheating on her. Gildain writes, "So Grand Maester Orwyle was dispatched across Blackwater Bay under a peace banner, leading a retinue that included Sir Aric Cargyle of the Kingsguard and Sir Gawain Hightower of the Goldcloaks, along with a score of scribes and septons, amongst them Eustace. The terms offered by the king were generous," Monken declares in his true telling. If the princess would acknowledge him as king and make obedience before the Iron Throne, Aegon II would confirm her in her possession of Dragonstone and allow the island and castle to pass to her son Jacaerys upon her death. Her second son, Lucerys, would be recognized as the rightful heir to Driftmark, and the lands and holdings of House Valyrion, her boys by Prince Daemon, Aegon the Younger, and Viserys would be given places of honor at court, the former as the king's squire, the latter as his cupbearer. Pardons would be granted to those lords and knights who had conspired treasonably with her against their true king. These peace terms are ridiculous, and the fact Gildain says they are generous is almost all the proof you need to see he is a Green supporter. Gildain writes, "Rhaenyra heard these terms in stony silence, then asked Orwyle if he remembered her father, King Viserys. 'Of course, your grace,' the maester answered. 'Perhaps you can tell us who he named as his heir and successor.' The queen said, her crown upon her head, 'You, your grace.' Orwyle replied, and Rhaenyra nodded and said, 'With your own tongue you admit I am your lawful queen. Why then do you serve my half-brother, the Pretender?' Monken tells us that Orwyle gave a long and complex reply, citing Andal law and the Great Council of 101. Mushroom claims he stammered and voided his bladder. Whichever is true, his answer did not satisfy Princess Rhaenyra. A Grand Maester should know the law and serve it. She told Orwyle, 'You are no Grand Maester, and you bring only shame and dishonor to that chain you wear.' As Orwyle protested feebly, Rhaenyra's knight stripped his chain of office from his neck and forced him to his knees, whilst the princess bestowed the chain upon her own man, Maester Garrodus, a true and leal servant of the realm and its laws. This is what the show should have done instead of the Greens sending Otto, because Otto is Hand of the King and too valuable to be sent as an envoy to Dragonstone. Also, having Rhaenyra fly her dragon behind the Green envoys and not immediately getting stabbed was so stupid. It was meant to be a callback to episode 3 when Rhaenyra did the same thing when Otto was treating with Daemon. But why? Why would she land her dragon there and think the Greens wouldn't just kill her? Now, compared to Season 2, this stuff isn't that egregious, but once George R.R. Martin leaves, the HBO adaptation is about to get a lot more dumb. Also, the terms have Rhaenyra surrender 2 hostages and keep control of Dragonstone and Driftmark, which she already possesses. So how is this generous? The only generous terms Aegon II could offer is publicly declaring his eldest daughter Jaehaera the heir, and betrothing her to Rhaenyra and Daemon's eldest son, Aegon III, then sending Jaehaera to Dragonstone. These would be the only terms that Rhaenyra and Daemon could even consider accepting, although Corlys and Rhaenys would not like them. But again, the Old Town conspiracy wanted a dragon-on-dragon war. Gyldayn writes, "As Rhaenyra sent Orwyle and the other envoys on their way, she said, 'Tell my half-brother that I will have my throne, or I will have his head.' Long after the dance was done, the singer Lucian of Tarth would compose a sad ballad called 'Farewell, My Brother,' still sung today. The song purports to relate the last meeting between Sir Eric Cargyle and his twin Sir Eric, as Orwyle's party was boarding the ship that would carry them back to King's Landing. Sir Eric had sworn his sword to Aegon, Sir Eric to Rhaenyra. In the song, each brother tries to persuade the other to change sides, failing. They exchange declarations of love and part, knowing that when next they meet, it will be as enemies. It is possible that such a farewell did indeed take place that day on Dragonstone. However, none of our sources make mention of such. Honestly, House of the Dragon should have included this scene, instead of the two brothers arguing in episode 9 when they were retrieving Aegon for Alicent, since it would have been a much more emotional goodbye than what the show gave us. Gyldayn writes, "Aegon II was 22, quick to anger and slow to forgive. Rhaenyra's refusal to accept his rule enraged him. I offered her an honorable peace, and the spat in my face," he declared. What happens next is on her own head. What happened next was war. It's kind of obvious now why Viserys kept Rhaenyra as his heir, since Aegon was clearly too emotional and would not make for a good king, which honestly makes Show Otto so stupid for thinking his grandson was a better heir, and even Show Otto realized at the end that Viserys was right. By removing the Old Town conspiracy in the show, the Greens are just really dumb for stealing the throne. Gyldayn writes, "Aegon had been proclaimed king in the Dragon Pit, Rhaenyra queen on Dragonstone. All efforts at reconciliation having failed, the dance of the dragons now began in earnest." By all efforts, Gyldayn means literally one envoy mission, although Rhaenyra definitely should have sent back terms to buy time like Robb Stark was doing in the main series with the Lannisters. Gyldayn writes, "On Driftmark, the Sea Snake's ship set sail from Hull and Spicetown to close the gullet, choking off trade to and from King's Landing. Soon after, Jacaerys Valyrion was flying north upon his dragon Vermax, his brother Lucerys south on Arrax, whilst Prince Daemon flew Caraxes to the Trident. Let us turn first to Harrenhal. Though large parts of Harren's great folly were in ruins, the castle's towering curtain walls still made it as formidable a stronghold as any in the Riverlands. But Aegon the Dragon had proved it vulnerable from the sky. With its lord, Larys Strong, away in King's Landing, the castle was but lightly garrisoned. Having no wish to suffer the fate of Black Harren, its elderly castellan Sir Simon Strong, uncle to the late Lord Lionel, great-uncle to Lord Larys, was quick to strike his banners when Caraxes lighted atop Kingspire Tower. In addition to the castle, Prince Daemon at a stroke had captured the not inconsiderable wealth of House Strong and a dozen valuable hostages, amongst them Sir Simon and his grandsons. The sudden, bloodless fall of Black Harren's seat was counted as a great victory for Queen Rhaenyra and her Blacks. It served as a sharp reminder of the martial prowess of Prince Daemon and the power of Caraxes, the Bloodworm, and gave the Queen a stronghold in the heart of Westeros to which her supporters could rally, and Rhaenyra had many such in the lands watered by the Trident. So instead of having Daemon leave during a falling out with Rhaenyra, the book has Daemon be totally loyal to his wife and decisively take the most strategic castle in Westeros to prevent the Lannisters and Old Town from reaching King's Landing, while also creating a pathway for the Vale, North, and River Lords to take King's Landing. Daemon's decisiveness probably kept House Tyrell and most of the Reach out of the war and swung all the River Lords except the Brackens to fight for Rhaenyra. Instead, the show had Daemon's capture of Harrenhal be less epic by having it be a ruin with no wealth and not the largest castle in all of Westeros. Gildain writes, after Daemon takes Harrenhal, the castle's small folk became his captives as well, amongst them a wet nurse named Alys Rivers. Who was this woman? A serving wench who dabbled in potions and spells, says Munkin. A woods witch claimed Septon Eustace, a malign enchantress who bathed in the blood of virgins to preserve her youth, Mushroom would have us believe. Her name suggests bastard birth, but we know little of her father and less of her mother. Munkin and Eustace tells us she was sired by Lord Lionel Strong in his callow youth, making her a natural half-sister to his sons Harwin, Breakbones, and Larys, the Clubfoot. But Mushroom insists that she was much older, that she was wet nurse to both boys, perhaps even to their father a generation earlier. Though her own children had all been stillborn, the milk that flowed so abundantly from the breasts of Alys Rivers had nourished countless babes born of other women at Harrenhal. Was she, in truth, a witch who lay with demons, bringing forth dead children as payment for the knowledge they gave her? Was she a simple-minded Slayton, as Eustace believes, a wanton who used her poisons and potions to bind men to her, body and soul? Alys Rivers was at least 40 years of age during the Dance of the Dragons. That much is known. Mushroom makes her even older. All agree that she looked younger than her years. But whether this was simple happenstance or achieved through her practice of the dark arts, men continue to dispute. Whatever her powers, it would seem Daemon Targaryen was immune to them, for little is heard of this supposed sorceress whilst the prince held Harrenhal. So Alys did nothing while Daemon ruled Harrenhal. Maybe because he was immune to her witchcraft, unlike Aemond. However, the show chose to make her trap Daemon in a state of psychological unraveling, which was cool for like an episode, but then it just dragged on and on with his mum, Rhaenyra, and Viserys' issues. But then Alys Rivers' motivations in Season 3 completely flip to her wanting Harrenhal, which comes out of nowhere, since in Season 2, she seemed to be guiding Daemon to the weirwood tree to show him the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy, which is used to resolve the pointless Season 2 plotline of him wanting to be king, which is such a waste of time, considering he has no backing or allies. Anyway, subscribe for more.